Hey everybody, it is Mike from How to Land Any Job, and I am just getting everything set up for our live Q&A. So welcome, welcome. And as soon as you join, feel free to drop in the comments your name, where you're from, and also what question or questions you have. Try to keep your questions to 2 or 3 sentences maximum. They do go by pretty quickly. And I am just getting the video set up so that people can find us a little bit easier. But welcome in the meantime. Hey, Pam in Newport Beach, welcome. Hey, Arnold, welcome back. Hey, Nava. And if you are joining us for the first time, so I always like to know where people are checking in from. So that's why Pam dropped in that she's checking in from Newport Beach. Another thing I'd love to hear in addition to that is there a certain type of job that you're more interested in? So are you more interested in a financial analyst role? Are you more interested in a marketing manager role, et cetera, et cetera? Or is there a certain industry that is a little bit more interesting to you? So that's going to be helpful in terms of when I give my examples and whatnot. Welcome, Sean. Thanks for joining. And so today my plan is to do mostly question and answer. I know in previous previous live videos, I've had a little bit more of a program, but I wanted to shift things up, do something a little bit different for you to make sure that your needs are getting met. And so if you do have pre-planned questions that you wanted to make sure you got asked, the sooner in the video you ask them, the more likely you are for me to be able to cover them. So go ahead and start dropping the questions in the chat window as well. And last housekeeping item as we get settled. So there are a variety of different people that haven't necessarily heard of me yet. Mike Tomasello with howtolandanyjob.com. And so one thing that helps me help you and other people is clicking on the share button below the video and sharing that to your wall or sharing that to people in instant messenger that you think might be able to benefit from the question and answer as well. Also, we're going to be doing one of these at the same time tomorrow, so 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to be doing another one on Saturday at noon Pacific, at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern. And all right, let me see if you guys dropped some questions in the window yet. So not yet. So again, thank you for joining, Natalia. Great to see you back. The best thing you can do so that I can put forward the best content for you is for you to go ahead and drop those questions in the chat window, in the comment window. Also have you drop in what type of job you're looking for. Are you looking for a marketing analyst job? Are you looking for a programming job? Are you looking for a job in the entertainment industry? All of that information will definitely help. All right. So as I'm waiting for different people to ask questions, and thank you for the likes and the loves. Certainly appreciate it. As I'm waiting for you to drop questions in the window, I want to talk about some things that I've been seeing with job searchers that I've been meeting with one-on-one recently. One, the importance of positivity. You may or may not have heard me tell the story recently about, this was just within the past couple of months. I met a vice president of marketing who had attended Harvard Business School, very prestigious business school, and she had been looking for a new job for 10 years and couldn't figure out why she wasn't having luck in the job market, wasn't even getting interviews. Well, there were a number of different things going on, but first of all, I was a job search expert, or at least I was someone with an MBA degree and had managed large teams of people at multiple companies. And even though she had me right there in front of her, she didn't ask me any questions. So great example for you all today. So if you have questions regarding the job search and how to be more successful, dropping them in the chat window is going to help with that. But even more importantly than that is the job search had sort of negatively affected her, let's say, is the most positive way to say it that I can think of. And instead of looking at her actions and what she could be doing better, she just made assumptions about the job market and that it wasn't good, or she made assumptions that it must be her age or things like that. And in reality, she was probably the unfriendliest person that was at the event that I was at. She wasn't smiling. And in general, she just wasn't a person that was very enjoyable to talk with. And this is coming from me, someone that loves talking to people about job search situations and where they want to go with things. And so my point is, if you can manage to have a positive attitude during the tough time of the search or looking to better yourself in your career or whatnot, things are going to pay off in a positive way. So one thing that I've started doing with all of my coaching clients, whether you're in my group coaching program or working with me one-on-one individually, is you need to get your mindset right. You need to have a positive mindset if you're going to be successful in advancing your career. I don't care whether it's making a little bit more money, getting that promotion, switching industries, switching job functions, whatever your goal is. If you're not managing to have a positive mindset, you're going to struggle. And so every one of my clients, I recommend you do this now. Go out and buy a book on positivity. One of my favorites is Flip the Gratitude Switch by my friend Kevin Clayson, Clayson. Flip the Gratitude Switch by Kevin Clayson. The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale is a classic. Anything by John Gordon, The Energy Bus in particular, fantastic books that will help you get your mind right and your attitude right. So thanks for joining, Michael. Good to see you back. And if I missed your name, it's just because things are going by a little bit faster. Hello, Vivian. Welcome. Welcome back. And as I mentioned, we're doing primarily question and answer today. So go ahead and drop any questions about resumes, interviewing, why don't I get called back, LinkedIn profiles, negotiation, job offers. Any of those questions are fair game today. So go ahead and drop those in the chat window. And I will start answering those. And the computer is moving a little bit slower today. So if you haven't already, as you're thinking of your questions, go ahead and drop in the city where you're coming from. If it's a little bit of a smaller city, please drop in the comment window, closest metropolitan area. And then what's your job function? What sort of work do you do or do you want to be doing? And then what sort of industry do you want to be doing? So for those of you that just joined in late, we talked about the importance of a positive mindset. And you can have gone to the best school in the world like Harvard, or you could have great executive level experience. And if your positivity and your mindset isn't in the right place, you can still get lackluster or mediocre results. So definitely get that taken care of. So as I wait for more and more questions to roll in, we're going to switch over and we're going to talk about resumes a little bit. Now, normally I don't spend a heck of a lot of time talking about resumes because here's why. If you're doing all of the right things in your job search and your resume is a little bit on the crappy side, you can still be successful. Now, do you want to have a good resume? Do you want it spell checked? Do you want it grammar checked? Do you want as many accomplishments on your resume as possible? Do you want the right skill sets? Of course you do. And I find most people that I work with over rely on the resume. Because in reality, you can have the best resume in the world, but if your resume is not seen by a human being and you don't have the right attitude, you're not going to be successful. So let's get some resume basics out of the way. So most of you already know this, but I'll go through some of the basics quickly. So those of you that have 5 years or less of experience, you're going to have a one-page resume. For those of you that have 5 to 10 years of experience, it gets a little bit dicier. You're going to have somewhere between 1 to 2 pages on your resume. And then if you're at the more executive level, 10 to 15, you might go as many as 3 pages. 4 is almost unheard of, but there are some situations where it might go ahead and happen on your resume. The key is anything that's older than 10 years old, chances are you don't need to take up as much space on it. It's not relevant as much. Now, one thing, and I created a video about this, I'm not sure if it's been posted yet, but Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, recently outlawed PowerPoint presentations in executive meetings at Amazon. And he decided that rather than have bullet points and a whole bunch of slides, it was easier if created a narrative or a story on 1 page to 6 pages. And I'm not suggesting your resume be 6 pages. This is just an example. And so Jeff Bezos decided no more bullet points because he couldn't tell enough the entire story and narratives. And human beings, psychologists, anthropologists have determined that we learn more through stories. So a lot of you are missing out on your resumes because you don't have summary statements on your resumes. So the ideal summary statement, not an objective, is somewhere between 2 lines to 5 lines, paragraph form, not bullet point form, because you're telling a story of what position are you a great fit for, in what industry or industries. If they're different industries, they should be at least related. And then what are the top 3 reasons why you're a great fit for the company? If you do nothing else but those in your opening paragraph, you're doing fantastic. And welcome to those of you who joined. Don't have a chance to greet all of you individually. Thanks for tagging people, encouraging people to come join the live video and question and answer. Feel free to click the share button as well and share that to some different groups as well. So Pam says, current multi-site office manager for a retail company, difficult to network since most are geared towards tech industries. Any suggestions? So first, Pam, I would ask you to clarify, is it you're not interested in being involved in tech, or you're interested in staying in retail or switching into retail? So that would help me design a better answer for you. But let me tell you about the whole difficult to network thing, because this is a fantastic question. So most of you are making networking way too complicated, and you're thinking that you have to go to the perfect type of networking event where only your industry and only your type of people are there. And in reality, the best networking is done one-on-one. I'm going to say that again because it's important. The best networking is done on one-on-one. And if you don't have a lot of experience with networking, when it comes to networking in the job search, networking is building relationships with people that you know or don't know well yet, and continuing to build the relationship. That's it. Now, to go a little bit deeper in terms of on the job search, what I recommend is if you focus on advice or learning with your networking more than anything else, you will end up much more positive and get way more results than if you see networking only as a means and ends to getting jobs. Because the thing is, most people are intuitive whether they realize it or not. And most people can sort of sense if you want something from them and if you're just trying to use them to get job leads or whatnot. And so if you go in with the mindset of, I'm just going to meet really great people, or I'm just going to develop relationships with the people that I already know well and try to learn something from them, it's going to end out better for all of you. And I go way more into detail with this in my howtolandanyjob.com coaching program and course, which is starting Monday, August 6th. So you can sign up for that on howtolandanyjob.com. So not interested in tech or tech savvy. Awesome. So trying to move from retail sales. So pretty much everyone that's found me has experienced LinkedIn at some point. So in terms of doing the one-on-one networking, even if you feel like you don't know anybody, so there's a variety of different things you can do. Well, one, hop on LinkedIn, and instead of doing a search for jobs or wasting your time in groups or commenting on the stream, the news stream, what you should really be doing on LinkedIn is doing searches for people. So if you type in the search box, let me see here. So office manager. So if you type in retail, because Pam specializes in the retail industry, you type in retail in the LinkedIn search bar, it's going to pop up some suggestions and click on retail for people. So you're doing a people search. Well, now a couple different results are going to come up. One, you're going to want to focus on first degree connections, because by doing that search, even if you think you don't know anybody, sometimes you'll be amazed in some people that you know from 10 years ago or 2 years ago, or maybe you used to play poker with them or knit with them or whatever it is. Sometimes they have switched industries, and because you know them socially, they didn't even tell you. So a lot of times you can uncover people in your industry of choice that you didn't even realize simply by doing a first degree search on LinkedIn. Second of all, let's pretend you exhaust all those. Second degrees on LinkedIn. Second degree is a fancy, simplified way of saying, I know someone that knows this person. So by going to that person's profile of the second degree, you can look at mutual connections and you can find out who knows that person. And then you can say, hey, Susan, I noticed you know John Smith at Big Five Sporting Goods on LinkedIn. I'd love to get John's advice, or I'd love to learn more about working at Big Five. Would you be willing to forward this email and make an introduction to John? It's that simple. That simple. And then once you're meeting with John or Susan or whoever it is, you can ask questions about the company, the industry, how things differ. And when people see you asking smart questions, caring about the relationship and learning, a lot of times they will start to make recommendations for you. All right. So welcome again to the people that have just joined. So today we are primarily doing question and answer. So question and answer around anything regarding job search today. It can be resumes, it can be LinkedIn, it can be networking, it can be I'm experiencing this problem or this struggle. What should I do in this situation? Try to keep your question or your post to 3 to 5 lines at the top, so I can read through it quickly and it's not too specific to you. But you're welcome, Pam. Glad I could address that a little bit. So you see, so we already talked about the importance of positivity in the job search and how that can really negatively affect you. We talked about resume not being the most important thing, but some great and important structures to the resume format. So what are some of the things that you're experiencing? You're welcome, Red. Glad that was helpful to you as well. What are some of the things that you guys are experiencing or not experiencing, or friends of yours? I have a friend who, those questions are welcome as well, and I'm happy to get to them. And I am just gonna double check to make sure the video is being shared to all the interested parties. All right. So we talked a little bit about resume, and now I want to talk about getting the resume to the right person. So the internet has changed so many things, even within the past 5 to 10 years when it comes to job search. It seems like the internet is the best place to get a job because there's posting everywhere. Well, the crazy thing is, as many postings as you see online, 80% of the jobs are still never posted anywhere online. 80% of the jobs that exist and come open are never posted anywhere online. So that means there are people out there hiring that aren't paying for a job post or not sharing or whatever. So a lot of times those jobs are getting filled because people are being more proactive and finding ways to get into the company before a job's even been posted, or they're doing some of the networking advice conversation sort of stuff that we've been talking about. Plus a hiring manager or executive, from their approach, they want to hire someone that they're confident in. They want to hire someone that they trust. And so if they can find someone that's referred in by someone else that they work with or someone else that they know, well, they're probably going to have a little bit more trust with that person than someone that just randomly applies through the company website or LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever. So by taking that extra step, you're increasing the chances that you're going to make that short list of people that are considered for the interviews. You're going to be a little bit more trusted or whatnot. Because even if you do have all the right keywords and you have great experience at top tier companies, even if you have that on your resume, well, that trust factor, that I've been referred by other person factor, is still going to set you apart and give you a leg up, because there might be other people with all the right keywords. There might be other people that have all the right experience or working for top tier companies. Now, the funny thing is, like I said, even if you have a resume that's a little bit lacking or you don't have as much experience as the average person that's applying, if you take those extra steps to build those relationships, a lot of times there's more priority placed on that than other stuff. So welcome to everybody that joined us. Just a reminder, so it is open question and answer today. And so go ahead and go to the comment window and pop in your questions about resumes, job search, interviewing, LinkedIn, whatever you can possibly think of. If you want to get my opinion on some new technique that you've heard about or whatnot, happy to do that as well. So, next topic I'm going to shift to is, all right, well, other than networking, which is the number one best way, and we talked about one-on-one networking a little bit, what are other ways that you can get your resume seen? Well, and a lot of times people come to me and they're like, well, how do I get my LinkedIn profile to where recruiters and hiring managers are coming to me? I want them to come to me. Oh, of course you and everybody else does as well. But the problem is, if you're asking that question, chances are there's a lot of legwork and work that you have to do to get up to that point. Usually people that are getting found by recruiters or hiring managers proactively are already the most in-demand people in their field and the top people in their field, because they've worked really hard to be at the best possible companies. They've done the legwork in the past to do the networking, to learn more, to prepare themselves for the interviews. And once you have the top tier experience under your belt and you have that already, well, now people are going to come to you. So I always make sure that I talk to multiple executive recruiters and hiring managers a year, usually every couple of months. I'd put it in the hundreds of people that are either a hiring manager or recruiter that I talk to every year. And what the recruiters always remind me to tell you guys is third-party recruiters, headhunters, unless it's a staffing contract sort of situation, executive recruiters are hired by a company to find people that the company could not find on their own. I want to repeat that again because it's important. Executive recruiters are hired to find people that the company can't find on their own. So if you are changing careers, or there's anything, or there's not any particularly compelling part of your story, well, the executive recruiter is probably not going to present you because you're a candidate that they would have otherwise found on their own. And so instead of reaching out to third-party recruiters, unless you already have a phenomenal background where you're a perfect fit for that particular area, you're actually better off reaching out to hiring managers directly, even if they're strangers, and reaching out to them directly. So one technique I just call it the email technique. And that's doing a little bit of creative Googling and saying, all right, well, I want to work at Amazon, Amazon.com, and I want to get a job as a marketing manager. So I hop on LinkedIn, I look for senior marketing managers or preferably directors of marketing that work at Amazon. And I say, all right, well, this person looks like they might have marketing managers that report to them. I write down their name, and then I do a creative Google search, and I do a search for the company URL. So in this case, Amazon.com. But instead of doing Amazon.com and then the search, instead I type in the word email space Amazon.com. And that way Google will search for email formats or email addresses for people that work at Amazon. So once I find one person that works at Amazon, so let's say I find John Smith. Well, John Smith's not the person I'm trying to reach, but I write down the email address, john.smith@amazon.com. I'm making this up, so if you're applying to Amazon, you got to do the search yourself and say, all right, well, I want to reach Susan Johnson. And so assuming Susan Johnson probably has the same email format, I type in susan.johnson@amazon.com. I send her an email. We're finding the email address, not a LinkedIn message. And then in the subject line, because Susan doesn't know us, in the subject line, we're saying marketing manager, because that's the job title that we want. And then Tomasello resume would be a great example. So your last name and then resume. So Susan's going to open this up, and then you're going to go straight into your cover letter, not an attachment. Your cover letter is going to be in the body of the email, and you're going to say, hey, Susan, I know you don't know me, but I'm a marketing manager with extensive experience in X, Y, and Z. And your X, Y, and Z should be 3 compelling reasons why they should hire you. So going back to the theme that we talked about in the resume summary or the LinkedIn summary. And then 3 bullet points. It can either be accomplishments, or it can be 3 more compelling reasons why to hire you. And then say, Susan, I'd love to talk to you about your team and your needs. I will reach out to you to see if it makes sense to talk further. And then you should reach out to them again, either by email or you could look up the company phone number and follow up 2 to 3 days later saying, hey, Susan, just want to confirm you got my email. I'd love to talk to you about marketing manager positions on your team. So there you go. There's the email technique. So for those of you that networking is going a little bit slower, or you're still sort of trying to figure what that looks like, that email technique can be really fantastic for you. So So definitely consider doing that one. That one is way more effective than just applying online. So the thing that's different about my job search advice is I will never ask you to do something unless I have tested it hundreds and hundreds of times and know that it works and that it works better than other stuff that's being done out there. So that's how I make my recommendations. And just checking to see if any other comments or questions are rolling in. Again, just a reminder, because I know some of you are listening to the topics that I'm choosing. The focus of today is question and answer on whatever you want. And so feel free to ask questions about resumes, LinkedIn profiles. You can ask questions about interviewing, how to get more job offers, particular situations to you. All of that is fair game today. So feel free to do that. And send this to one more group of people. If you're finding any of this information helpful, or you know someone that might be available, maybe you see them in green on your Facebook Instant Messenger, go ahead and send this link to them so that they can go ahead and join this chat and ask some questions as well. So this is not restricted to a small handful of people. So should we work to sanitize our other social media pages? So feel free to clarify what you mean by that, Rod, but I think I get the gist, so I can talk about that a little bit. So yes, double checking your social media pages to make sure that there is not any dangerous content on there is important. Now, a survey has been done the past 2 years with recruiters, and the recruiters were asked, do you check candidates' social media profiles before you hire them? In some cases, even before you interviewing them. Overwhelmingly, over 90% of the recruiters said yes. It might have even been 93% said yes, we do check people's social media profiles, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. So yeah, so if you're posting a lot of stuff on Facebook, that's a concern. So now personally, I'm supporter of all beliefs, viewpoints, authenticity, and whatnot. And companies, employers, they need to play it safe. So if there's a risk that, especially if you touch the customer in any way, I don't care if you're a writer behind the scenes or an engineer that doesn't bring on the clients, but you work with them somewhat. Well, if the recruiter or the hiring manager thinks you might be making a bad impression on social media, I don't care which one it is, well, they might be like, well, if he made that judgment call or she made that judgment call, maybe when I put them in front of a client, they might make the company look bad. Now, you might be the most professional person in the world in the workplace, and you're just a little bit more liberal in your social media. Well, they don't know that. And as an employer, they have, on average, employers in the United States get about 100 applicants per position, 100. Now, that's a small company that no one's ever heard of. Larger, medium-sized companies, especially well-known companies in the industry, they get as many as 1,000 applicants per position. And so the point I'm trying to get across here is employers have choice. So if they have a concern about what you posted on social media, even if it's not a valid one, they can throw out your application and they can go and look at someone else. It's not difficult for them usually to get 5 to 10 people that they want to interview, or someone that they want to extend an offer to. So political posts, like, I believe, hey, your political views are your own, and while you're conducting a job search, you probably want to keep your political posts not public and make sure they're private, friends only, and you might even want to be careful about which friends see those. Because even your friends that are thinking about referring you to someone for a job situation, they're potentially saying, I don't know, Susan's been really acting up with, what she's saying about the such and such political party. Well, I can't risk that she's going to say that, so I'm not going to make an introduction for Susan right now. So, so great question. So someone's not able to see my feed. I don't know if that's the case with everybody. The video is still saying it's going for me. So, so do me a favor, if you are watching live right now, please go ahead and post what city are you checking in from, or metropolitan area if it's a city I might not be familiar with. What type of work do you do? What type of industry are you in or that you want to be in? And then if there's a question about job search, careers, interviewing, or whatnot, feel free to drop that in the comment window. That will also help tell me that the video is active. So, so that'll be helpful as well. So going a little bit deeper with social media. So believe it, like, lots of people like to partake in an alcoholic beverage or whatnot. Well, as silly as it sounds, a recruiter or a hiring manager, they might come across that one profile pic or that one pic from 3 or 4 years ago where you looked like you had maybe one too many glasses of wine, or maybe you were completely sober and you had a glass of wine, or you were joking around with a bottle of something, and that could get misinterpreted. And so during the time of a job search, or during the time when you're trying to progress in your career, I recommend you be a lot more conservative in terms of what you post on social media. All right, cool. All right, lots of people from Los Angeles today. Welcome. All right, so keep those questions going. I want to devote the vast majority of the time today for question and answers. Now, because I'm trying to cover a lot of different topics, if I don't go too much in detail, I do want to let you know my next course and coaching program, very affordable, is starting Monday, August 6th. It's going to be a 3-week course. It's going to be an average, it's going to vary a little bit from week to week, but it's going to be somewhere between 2 to 4 sessions per week. You're going to get the dates and the times, but for everybody, it's going to be after work. So for people that, so the course is never going to start before 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And so that way you can attend after work. And if you're not able to attend the course live, you're going to be able to get the recordings. So what I really like about the course is I'm going to give you over 10 hours. We're going to cover every single aspect of job search in detail. And that would, to work with me one-on-one on that would normally cost somewhere between $1,200 to $2,000, depending on the situation. In the course, if you sign up by Monday, you're going to get all of that for $389. So only $389 to get detailed stuff that some of my executive clients are paying up to $2,000 for. So you're going to get all of that. You're going to get resume templates. You're going to get networking templates. I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and how to say it so that you can literally just copy and paste and change a couple words. And so you're going to be able to learn how to master networking in the job search. I'm going to teach you how to organize your interview answers, how to structure them so that you put your best foot forward, that you focus on subjects that the employer actually cares about, and you're going to be more successful and it's going to resonate. So, so please go ahead and do that. So thanks, Albert. I appreciate the comments, and welcome back. So if you want to find out more about that course, you can go to howtolandanyjob.com, job.com, and you can read all about the course, my qualifications, and everything that you get as part of the course. So um, the nice thing about job search and career coaching is once you master a skill, you have it for a lifetime. And you're not just getting benefits now in your next job when you get that promotion or you get that raise, you're getting those benefits for the rest of your life. Because if you get $10,000 or $5,000 in income now, well, your next promotion is based off of where your salary's at. So whether it's a 3% or a 4% raise every year, every couple of years, well, the bigger salary you have to start with, the bigger and more you're going to be making over a lifetime. So that's why it makes sense to invest now in your time and money, master it so that you have these skills for a lifetime. So again, it is open question and answer. So feel free to ask about resumes, LinkedIn, interview, negotiation. Is there a certain situation that you're experiencing or you're confused about? You're confused about why you're not getting responses from people? Go ahead and drop those comments in the chat window so that I can go ahead and answer those. So thus far today, we've talked about the positive mental attitude and how to address that and why that's so important. We've talked a little bit about resume basics today. We've talked a little bit about social media and how you have to be careful about what you put on for social media during a job search. Talked a little bit about how to reach out to people one-on-one and how networking is more about building relationships and not necessarily job leads and why that's so important. So if you did miss those parts of the video, definitely go back and watch this. Just set an hour on your calendar or the 30 minutes that you missed and make sure and go back and watch those parts. So next question, any thoughts on where the job market is going to be going in the next few quarters? So you will get a much different answer from me on the job market than you will anybody else. And I'll explain why in a second. So first of all, so a lot of good things about the job market right now. So, one of the lowest unemployment rates over the past couple of months that we've seen in years and years. And some of you that are still struggling and or not getting interviews are like, well, what does that mean if I'm not getting interviews and it's the best ever? Well, one, the employment numbers are a little bit misleading. So when you see something like a 4% unemployment rate, it doesn't take into account some of these other factors. So one, people that are underemployed are not incorporated in that 4%. So people that are working a part-time job that really want to be working a full-time job, they're not counted in that unemployment rate. So also someone who's working, but they're working in a job that they hate, they're not included in that employment rate percentage. People that originally wanted to get a job and they got frustrated and they kind of gave up, if they're not actively looking for a job, they're not included in that employment rate. So employment rates can be really misleading because of the way that they're calculated. The fact of the matter is, even if the unemployment rate goes dramatically up, which I don't anticipate it will, I don't expect it to be back up in double digits in the United States anytime in the foreseeable future. Employers will always find spaces for really high qualified, motivated people. And so one of the keys, motivated, and we talked about positivity and how that impacts things. Plus, if you are someone that they trust or that you were referred in by someone that they trust, that can help you get a job regardless of how the market's doing. And so my sort of thing is, from your perspective as a job searcher, don't get caught up in reading where the market trends are going and whatnot. Figure out what's best for you. Figure out where you can improve. The reason why some of you are struggling, and not all of you, the reason why some of you are struggling in your job search is because you're assuming there's something wrong on the employer side, or you're assuming something's wrong on the market side. And you need to empower yourself with job search skills. You need to empower yourself with expertise or areas of knowledge. You need to empower yourself with building a network of people in the industries that you want to be in. If you empower yourself and say, hey, I can't control everything in my life in the world, but I can control these things, you're going to get a lot better results. So if you leave with nothing else but that today, taking control. Those are my thoughts on the job market, and again, not what you would normally hear from people. People like to hear, "Hey, these are the numbers currently. This is where I think the numbers are going," or whatever. And you can't get caught up in that, because if you get caught up in that, then you're living in a reality where it's more about external factors and not about yourself. And in reality, if you don't change yourself and you don't continue to improve yourself, that's ultimately why you're struggling. Because I've worked with professional tennis players to switch to the technology industry. I have worked with people that were selling power tools out of the back of the truck that are now vice presidents of information technology. Now, with some of that, I taught them good stuff, absolutely. And it's all stuff that I teach in the course at howtolandanyjob.com that's going to be starting. And part of it is those people were willing to put in additional work. Those people were willing to schedule stuff on their calendar and make it a priority. And those people were willing to say, all right, well, I can't control what this employer, whether this employer likes me or thinks I'm qualified enough, but I can control what I communicate. I can control whether or not I've improved my resume. I can control who I'm reaching out to. I can control what people I'm networking with and trying to get help from. Hey, Darren, welcome. And for those of you that are just joining us, so I was wrapping up my thoughts on why where the job market's going actually doesn't matter. Because if you focus on jobs that are a good fit for you, that you're passionate about, and improving yourself and building your skill set and learning job search techniques and networking techniques, you will find a job regardless of the market conditions. So I know people that find jobs, the people that really master this stuff, they find jobs when the unemployment rate is high. They find it when it's low, and it's about the same or equal amount of effort for them. So if you're just joining us, we are taking live question and answer today. So you can literally ask me anything about the job search, resumes, interviewing. We talked about the email technique earlier. I won't repeat everything that we talked about. You can go back and listen to other parts of the video. But feel free to drop in the comment window other stuff that you want to know or ask about, because I want to get your questions answered today. Tomorrow and Saturday, because we are going to do another session at the same time tomorrow. I'm going to structure that one a little bit more. I'm going to pick some of my favorites, I think, regarding resume and LinkedIn tomorrow. So if you're able to see tomorrow's live, definitely recommend you come back for that, or just put a time on your calendar to come back to this page and view the recording in the future if you're not able to listen to it all. So we have about 12 minutes left. And so if there is a question that you're holding on to, you definitely want to get it out soon. All right, awesome. I like this. Look at this question. A bit of a tough time navigating the networking. I'm generally pretty introverted, and so I come out of these networking events having only talked to one or two people. Is there a better way? Yeah, so I did talk about this a little bit earlier in the video, so I'll try to talk about some other stuff. So one, you don't have to go to networking events at all. Um, it might not seem like it, but I'm actually extremely introverted myself. And I've just developed some more extroverted skills, some networking skills or whatnot that even if you're a hardcore introvert, they're fairly easy to master. So the thing is, job interviews don't happen in a 5 minute or a 10-minute networking conversation anyway. Job leads happen after building relationships with people. So it's really hard to develop a relationship with someone in 5 minutes at a networking event. It happens, and I teach ways to do that. But the quicker direction to the path is, well, just focus on meeting one or two people that you like and then getting their contact information and saying, hey, John, I really enjoyed meeting with you today. I really enjoyed getting to know you today. I'd love to get your advice sometime. Is it okay if I reach out to schedule 20 minutes just to chat with you and learn some things from you? So if you make that simple shift in your networking events, and that's stuff that you can use with people you already know or people that you meet at parties or in the workplace or anywhere, that same phrase works really well. Now, let's say you do want to go to some networking events. Maybe you want to supplement the people that you already know. Well, one really great way to meet more people at the networking events is to introduce yourself to the organizer and say, "Hey, Jim, I'm fairly new to the event, and I'm really looking to get involved, and I'm looking to meet this type of person, looking to meet financial analysts, or I'm working to meet people that work in banking. Could you help me out? Because I'd like to come back here more regularly, and could you introduce me to some of the people that you know here?" So making friends with the organizer and just asking them for help, well, helping people is part of the organizer's job. So by doing that, you'll meet more people at networking events. But again, especially because you said you're an introvert, I recommend just hopping on LinkedIn, focusing on your first degree connections, people that you already know, second degree connections. Now, the trick with the second degree connections is you want to look at the mutual connections, and you want to make sure that one of the mutual connections is actually someone you know, not just someone you randomly connected with. And then your third option is, and we'll talk about this more in the course, some different options, but anywhere where you went to school, any college or university that you went to, you're a part of that alumni network. I don't care if you went to business school there, you can reach out to people that went to the engineering school. And we talked about the script a little bit earlier, so I won't go through all of that. Well, I guess I talked about the script for cold emailing. So script for networking, one-on-one with people. So one of my clients went to the University of Laverne, which is a school in the Los Angeles area. So if he was reaching out to an alum of his school, he might put in the email subject line, University of Laverne alum, entertainment industry advice, or whatever industry you want to get advice in, or whatever job function area you want to get advice in, because you do want that focus on advice. Hey, John, I know you don't know me, but I'm also a University of Laverne alum. As a fellow Laverne alum, you might even want to throw in the college mascot there. I'd love to get your advice in the industry because I'm also in the industry, or I'm looking to break into the industry. I just want to let you know I'll be respectful of your time. I'd love to swing by a place that's convenient for you and get your advice. Now, if you use any variation of what I just said to you, you're going to get better results if you do that with at least 10 people than 90% of the networking events that you go to. Okay. So definitely a better way to network. Now, if you have specific questions about networking events that you want to ask, we talked about, Another thing I like to do is I like to be very targeted if I do go to a networking event. And I want to say, can I tell from the title of the event, the organization of the event, the description of the event, is it even likely that someone that I'm going to want to meet is going to be there? If you can't tell, you might be going to events that are a little too random. If you're just going to a random Chamber of Commerce networking event, well, for most people that want to work for certain industries or corporations, well, you're going to find a lot of business owners and salespeople at Chamber of Commerce events. So be careful about what events you go to. Another thing I like to do is I like to choose my events by who's speaking, because who's ever likely attracted to that speaker, if they fall in the industry or the functional area that I want to be in, then there's more likely to be people in the audience of the type that I want to meet. Also, you want to get there early. You want to do your networking early before people are tired and rushed and getting out of the way. So there you go. So we are coming into the last 5 minutes of the question and answer today. And so if you came in a little bit late, feel free. The video recording is going to be available for into the foreseeable future. Occasionally, Facebook will delete them out of nowhere, so don't wait too long to watch it. But schedule an hour on your calendar when you're going to watch the parts of the video that you missed. I do have time for one long question or 2 or 3 short questions. So if you do have a question that you've been holding on to about the job search, career, networking, please drop that in the comment window, and I'm happy to get to that. Could be further clarification or detail on something that you've already asked or someone else already asked. As I'm waiting for those last few comments, so part of the reason why I'm doing more of these is job search is hard. Growing up, my parents were struggling all the time, and luckily they instilled in me growing up that I don't have to struggle, and if I worked hard and I found ways, I could be successful. And so what I did was I studied job search masters. I read all the books. I read all the networking books. More importantly, I tried them out, and I figured out some of them work, some of them don't work. And I used that information to, over the past 20 years, I've literally met with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hiring executives and recruiters, and I've asked them what they like and what they don't like. And so that's the information that I'm trying to make available to you through these question and answers. So there's going to be another Facebook Live tomorrow at the same time from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. There's going to be one around lunchtime Pacific time on Saturday. And also, if you want to go into more depth, if you want me to take the lead and just give you every single thing you need to know step by step, and you want me to tell you every single thing that you need to do to be successful, I've compiled all of that in a course that's affordable for anybody, because it used to be you had to have $2,000 to get all of that information from me. So what I've done is I've put it into a course that launched August 6th. It's a 3-week-long course. You get over 10 hours, much more than 10 hours, and I'm going to give you all the templates, and I'm going to teach you every single major area of job search, what to do, what to say. And instead of paying $2,000 for that, you're going to, if you sign up by Monday, you're going to get all of that for only $389. And I don't know how much you're currently underpaid by or whatnot, but let's say you're underpaid by $10,000 a year. Well, that's $833 a month. So your first month on the job in the new job, even if it's only $5,000 better, you're making back the cost of the course in your first month on the job. Plus, it's going to replicate itself in your income for the rest of your life. So if you want to find out more about that course, definitely go to howtolandanyjob.com, read all about that, sign up by Monday. The price does go up starting Tuesday. If you're not quite ready for that yet, make sure you join my Facebook group if you're not already a part of that. That also is called How to Land Any Job. Now there's a group and there's a page. There's a page that you like, and then there's a group that you join as a member. I recommend being on both because I put different content in each of those. But the group is the place where you can type in questions late at night or whatever, and eventually I'll get back to them. So if you haven't joined the How to Land Any Job group, please go ahead and do that. Please tell your friends, family members about this, because even if you don't sign up for the course, I want to help them in the live Q&As. I want to help them in the Facebook group because I care about your success. I care about your future. Let's get you in a better job, making more money. That's my time for today. I hope to see a lot of you again tomorrow from 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And until then, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.